Hey y'all, and welcome back for another adventure in the cookie jar. Today we are doing the fourth recipe from the key lime pie murder. It is key lime pie. Well, the meringue, key lime pie meringue. I feel like pages and thus leave that one. So we're working on 3 pages from the book. And it does have ingredients in 2 spots, one for the filling and one for the meringue. So what you're gonna need is to preheat your oven to 325 to bake the actual pie. For the crust, it says make your favorite graham cracker or cookie crumb crust or buy one pre-made at the grocery store. I used a shortbread crust. I went and I looked and I found Keebler in a shortbread crust, so that's the one I grabbed. For the filling, you're going to want 5 eggs, 14-ounce sweetened condensed milk, a half a teaspoon of lemon zest, optional. It has a note on that if you don't have lemon zest, do not substitute lime zest, especially from regular limes. They can be very bitter and a little flecks of green aren't very appetizing. Half a cup of sour cream, half a cup key lime juice. It's got a note for that one as well. Key limes are difficult to find. If your store doesn't have them, look for a frozen key lime juice. If you can't find that, just buy regular limes and juice those. Now, they sell a bottle of Key West lime juice. That is what I usually buy when it calls for like key lime juice, because key limes, I find them occasionally and they're very, very small, but they're not something that's found regularly. 1/4 cup of white granulated sugar. And then what it does not specify from one, like it gives you the filling ingredients and then it tells you what to do with them. And then once you're done with that, it lists the meringue stuff. It says this is a whole lot easier with an electric mixer. It also says 4 egg whites, the one you saved. So with the filling, you have 5 eggs. You're gonna crack 1 whole egg into a bowl, and then you're going to separate the other 4 eggs. The 4 egg yolks go into the bowl with the 1 whole egg, and the 4 egg whites go into a separate bowl for the meringue. And then with that, you're also going to want half a teaspoon of cream of tartar, a pinch of salt, and a third a cup of white granulated sugar. So there are a couple of extra notes on this. Like the first note, it says key limes aren't easy to juice, they're very small, and regular lime juicer won't work very well. I just roll them on the counter, pressing them down with my palm until they're a little soft. Then I cut them in half on a plate so that I can save any juice that runs out. Hold each over a measuring cup and squeeze them with my fingers. It's a little messy, but it works. And then, let's see, where's the other one? The other one is on the last page. It says to keep your knife from sticking to the meringue when you cut the pie, dip the blade in cold water. Second note, key lime juice is a very pale green color, midway between yellow and green. The egg and egg yolks added to the filling will color it more yellow than green. If you see a key lime pie that's green inside, the baker added green food coloring. Let's get into the kitchen and get started. So this is everything we're going to be using to make this key lime pie. So one thing I would like to point out is that both the can of sweetened condensed milk and the Key West lime juice had recipes for key lime pie. Neither of them mentioned lemon zest or sour cream. And neither of them had meringues either. So I find that interesting. And I'm curious how different they would turn out. But I'm not making 3 key lime pies to find out. If somebody else wants to find out, let me know. All right, so the first thing we're taking is our eggs, the 1 whole egg and the 4 egg yolks into the bowl, and leaving the 4 egg whites in the other bowl. In this bowl, we have the 1 egg and 4 yolks. In the other bowl, we have our 4 egg whites. Now it says we want to whisk these together until they're a uniform color. So I think we'll go with that. It looks pretty uniform to me. Next, we are stirring in the sweetened condensed milk. Now we want the lemon zest. We also want the sour cream. It looks blended to me. So now we're gonna move on. It says to add the sugar to the key lime juice. So the 1/4 cup of sugar mixes in with the key lime juice. And stir until the sugar has dissolved. Yeah, we're just going to try this. This does not seem to be working for me. And the key lime juice isn't even cold. I know on the bottle it says from now on to keep, once it's been opened, to store it in the refrigerator. I can't imagine it stirring easily into cold liquid. We're gonna hopefully consider that done. And now we just add this into the bowl with our eggs. Comes the pan of shortbread crust for me, or graham cracker crust, whatever crust you want to use for this. Now, I always put my pies on a baking sheet just to catch any spillage. All right, so now we have it filled. It's gonna go into the 325 oven for 20 minutes. Okay, now the pie is out of the oven. We have it sitting on top. Don't turn your oven off. Instead, raise the temperature to 350. Now we're taking our egg whites, the 4 egg whites we have saved. We are mixing in the cream of tartar and the pinch of salt. And we are going to mix those until we have soft peas. All right, now we're going to put it back on high and sprinkle in our sugar. That looks like stiff peaks to me. Maybe not. It's still wiggly. I don't trust it. I don't know. It doesn't go anywhere when I turn it upside down. Just meringue. The egg whites don't set the bowl, they're ready. Well, they're not going nowhere, so I guess they're ready. The one note it says is to spread it over the filling with a clean spatula, sealing it to the edges of the crust. Either dot it with the flat side of the spatula to make points in the meringue, or smooth it out into a dome and make circular grooves with the tip of your spatula from the outside rim to the center to create a flower-like design. The first thing I'm going to work on is making sure that the meringue hits the crust. Now that that's accomplished, I can decide what I want to do with the rest of it. Give you a close-up of what the pie looks like before it goes back into the oven at 350 for another 12 minutes. Here is what we have going back in the oven. The pie has come out of the oven. I'm going to let it sit on the counter for an hour, and then I am going to let it sit in the fridge for an hour or two until it's nice and cold, and then we will see what the inside looks like. This is the key lime pie with the meringue topping. It looks amazing. That is so good. The meringue's sweet and it's pillowy. And the key lime, it's tart. It's almost just a little sour, which it's balanced out with the sweetness in the meringue. The shortbread crust between this mountain of meringue and this thick slab of key lime pie. You barely notice the shortbread crust. You barely notice it. But then, I mean, Yeah, just a little bit of crunch to give you a little bit of texture change. But oh my gosh, it is so good. That is so very good. I recommend making that. So the next recipe in the book is called a mock apple pie. And I've seen a lot of these recipes be very popular during, like, I think when they were doing rationing during World War II, and they could get a lot of things. So instead of apples, it's used saltine crackers. It's really interesting how it works out. I have made one before, and it very much tricks your brain into thinking you're eating apples. It's really interesting. So I hope you guys join us next week and see what that is all about. I hope you have a good one. Bye.